Om Shruti Smriti Puranaanam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Patam Shankaram Loga Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhatarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः बुकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्याय नचिकेतसे नमः. So we have to see the 9th shloka actually of the 3rd session of the 1st chapter of the Kaṭha Upaniṣad. For the connection, I will say the meaning again of the 8th verse. I will read the 8th verse which we have seen in the last class. Yastu vijñānavān bhavati samanaskaha sada sujihi satu tatvatamapnoti yasmāt bhuyo na jāyate. Once more I will read. Yastu vijñānavān bhavati samanaskaha sada sujihi satu tatpadamapnoti yasmāt bhuyo na jāyate. What we have seen the previous verse, the meaning of the previous verse, that a person who is lacking all the prerequisites and also who is governed by uncontrolled mind and also the senses also not having the capacity to be calm themselves, that person will waste the time in this world, in this material world, enjoying different objects and also going through different experiences. He will be always going through the death and birth circle, what is called samsara. On the opposite hand, when a person who is always clear about the goal and he is connected his all activities towards the goal, and that person is a listener of the traditional teaching from the guru, the traditional teacher. That is why in and through Lord Death called him Vijñānavan, a person who is listening to the traditional teachings. Ignorance being the root cause for all our issues and problems, knowledge is the only remedy to eradicate the ignorance. What knowledge? Knowledge about oneself. So, in order to gain the self-knowledge, one needs to listen methodically, systematically from a traditional teacher. And that person will be completely with a controlled mind and also purity within oneself. Sada Shujihi. We already saw that a discriminative mind and clear thoughts make the person pure. Then what this person gains in his life, sadhu tat padam apnoti. This person gains the ultimate goal or reaches the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? To be freed from the death and birth circle while living itself, not after death of the body, not after departing from the body. While living in this world itself, this person will be freed from the death and birth circle, and having a body is not a problem at all after gaining the knowledge. Yasmad bhuyaha na jayate. Because of gaining the knowledge from the traditional teachers, he never born again in order to go through different problems and issues in this world. Bhuyona jayate. Again, he will not get a birth in this death and birth circle. We already saw the meaning of this verse. Now we are going to see in this class the next slogan, which is the ninth verse of the third section of the first chapter of Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Lord Yama is giving the knowledge and he is explaining the reality about the death and birth of each and every living being. And that will have a connection to the ultimate goal also, because he is pointing by giving the instruction to Nachiketas that one should be always focused towards the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? Of course, human being birth have direct goal to receive the knowledge from the traditional teachers and gain moksha, freedom from all kinds of issues. But most of the people misses. They miss this ultimate goal. They take what is seen is true, and the human birth is to enjoy this world. So he wants to give the knowledge step by step, giving some examples so that a person can again focus towards the goal, even though he's a bit far away from the pursuit. So Lord Death is describing all the things in a simple way. And also Nachiketas is also getting the boon what he has asked as the third boon from the Lord Death. We will see what Lord Death says again to Nachiketas. Vijnana saratihi yahatu mana pragrahavan naraha saha advanaha param apnodi tad vishnohu paramam patam. Once again I will read. Vijnana saradihi yahatu manah pragrahavan naraha saha advanaha param apnodi tad vishnohu paramam patam. Vijnanavan saratihi. Naraha, saha naraha. We will connect that. A person who is having the discrimination or who is listening to the knowledge from the traditional teacher, saha naraha. That person is endowed with an intellect which is the charioteer endowed with an intellect which is totally discriminative. Vijnanavan Vijnana Saradihi Yahatu. Vijnana Saradihi. Vijnana Saradihi. Sorry. So Vijnana Saradihi means Sarathi means charioteer. Our body usually follow according to one's own thoughts. Thoughts originates from the mind, and the thoughts are being decided by the intellect. Whatever thoughts comes in the mind, we don't listen. But once the intellect do and make the thought in action, then we do that. So buddhi, our intellect, is the charioteer who makes the thought into action. We are guided by our intellect. We are following our intellect. So charioteer is intellect. Suppose if we have a totally discriminative intellect, it is not possible for everybody. Everybody live according to their own natural instinct. Some people want to enjoy the world. Some people want to enjoy some other things. Our body being a strong notion for oneself, it's not very easy to come out of the biological setup. We need certain happiness which is connected to the body, and people get completely away from the real goal. Vedanta never talks about the material happiness to be avoided. Vedanta wants you not to go along with the flow of material happiness. They comes and goes. They are momentary happiness. Any happiness which you gain from this world, whether it is an ice cream, whether it is a movie, whether it is a good footwear, whatever it may be, it's a momentary happiness. One should not stick with that. Vedanta is not against any material happiness. But buddhi should the intellect should always think that these things can come and go. I cannot go along with that. I should not be taken away by these things. Whether they are present in front of me, whether they are absent in front of me, I don't have any problem. I have the same level. I am the same person because I never lack anything. Body have limitations. That limitations are only pertaining to the body, not for me. So these type of discriminations we gain from our traditional teachers, and the Sarathi, the intellect, will not have any kind of instability after listening to this knowledge. The instability means going along with the flow of material life, not having any idea about the goal and its means. Once we are clear with the goals and the means, material pursuit is also a force to go along with the spiritual pursuit. We need food, we need water, we need shelter, but they are not the main or primary concern of our life. Really speaking, they are secondary. We need freedom from this dramatic world which goes from one birth to another birth. That should be our primary concern. In order to gain this primary concern, we need a proper body. A proper body can listen, a proper body can focus, a proper body can do some spiritual activities that we can understand the knowledge of the traditional teachers. So, Vijnana Saratihi, a body which is endowed with an intellect which is totally discriminative, a discriminative intellect, charioteer. What it will do will control the reins which is our mind. So whatever the thoughts pop up in the mind, we will not go along with all the thoughts. Discriminative intellect will censor, will choose and decide what is favor for our growth, what is favorable for our spiritual elevation. All other thoughts, just the intellect will deny, even though it pops up in the mind. I already told you there is no control for the mind so that any thought can come at any time. In a situation, there will be a thought which is unwanted, which is not connected with the situation. It can pop up in the mind. According to our natural instinct, due to the past impressions, due to the leftover desires which are not yet fulfilled, due to the desires fulfilled and you want to enjoy more, all these factors all together work behind a thought. Any time, any thought can. So mind is not having any control. In the night, like a kid seeing something, a horrible thing in the dream or in the deep sleep and cries. Similarly, in a situation, we will have an unfavorable thought, which is not suitable for the situation. But the intellect, who is disciplined, who is well trained, who is the charioteer of our life, will control the thoughts through the discrimination. So discrimination is very important. What I need in my life and to reach the goal, what I should do in my life, the means. Similarly, what is real, what is unreal, what I should pursue for my growth, what I should not pursue for my destruction. All these things are being completely verified, and through discrimination, we give up unwanted things in our life. We take into what are essential for our spiritual growth. This is called discrimination. It's very important. Make use of the time. Our life is a very short span, 8 hours we sleep, 8 hours we do our personal things, 8 hours we have certain joy and fun. How many time we used to spend for the spiritual growth? It's very important. And after a period of time, the senses will become weak It cannot pursue any more reading or grasping the ideas, even though those ideas are very, very powerful, which can give certain impact in our life. Still, I cannot listen or I cannot pursue. My body is weaker. So here, Vijnana Sarathihi, the charioteer who is intellect and who is discriminative, will control or discriminate, separate the noble thoughts and the evil thoughts which are popping up in the mind. Evil thoughts are totally distracted and noble thoughts are totally taken into one's life. That is what Manapragrahavan. The mind is as a reins he controls this Vijnana Saradi. He controls. And as a spiritual seeker, we need to perform certain spiritual disciplines. Daily, one needs to attend or listen to the traditional teachers' systematical classes. One should be very careful from whom one needs to listen the classes, whether the person is a traditional teacher. There are a lot of people around the world who are teaching spirituality. Anybody can teach spirituality. The point is, traditional teachers, I repeat again and again whenever I get a chance, those who studied under a traditional teacher for a length of 12 years can only teach you properly. If you don't find out a person, it means that we have to qualify with our life again and again. Once you are qualified, everything will fall under place. You will be in the realm of a qualified traditional teacher who can guide you properly. Once we are under a proper person, it's very easy to take into the right steps. Once we are not under right people or right connection with the connected with the right person, our steps are not connected with the clear the goal in our life. We may be doing something different which are not having connection with the goal. So traditional teachers are important in order to listen any systematical study, any theory connected with the Indian philosophy. There is no bachelor degree. There is no academical qualification for traditional teachers. You don't measure them with all these scales in your life. This person is PhD in something. This person is a doctor. This person is an engineer. Even though he's an engineer, he teaches something. That will not constitute a traditional teaching. Traditional teaching don't need any academical qualification. Academical qualification you can wear in your shirt and you can tell to somebody, or you can post in the Facebook. That much proud you can have. In traditional teaching, these qualifications are not a criterion to teach. A person should study under a traditional teacher for a length of at least 20 years. That person is capable of guiding others. From the words itself, we can feel their stability in the pursuit, their firmness in the pursuit. So, When you listen such a traditional teacher, here Nachiketas is listening from Lord Death, a powerful traditional teacher, Lord Death. So Nachiketas is listening from a proper traditional teacher, and he unfold the things properly. A intellect which is having total discrimination can control the thoughts which are occurring in the mind, and that person who has a trained mind and a discriminative intellect will reach the advanaha, reach the destination, param apnudi, will reach the destination of the journey immediately. After listening to the teachings of the traditional teacher, the journey ends. What is the end of the journey? There is no again a birth in this world. Taking birth is not an easy thing. Lot of pain and suffering are involved. We don't know in which womb we will be for 10 months. And we are helpless for a length of 10 to 15 years after getting birth of a human being. We will be guided by our father or mother, and we don't know they are correct or wrong. Suppose we are in an alcoholic family, we have to listen whatever they say. We don't know our father or mother is right or wrong. All the way confusion, issues, problems. These are all psychological issues. Some health issues can occur. If the mother is not having a proper health when a baby is inside his womb, this will affect the baby also. Suppose she fell down. For instance, I'm talking. I don't want any pregnant woman to fall down while they are pregnant. I'm just giving an example. Suppose a woman fell down while he's pregnant, and it affects the body of the baby. Suppose she is nervous, she is a shock of listening certain news. All these things will affect the baby who is inside her womb. All this instinct we will carry all our life once we get the birth. We will be always nervous of listening certain bad things, when see the bad people, when you see the bad deeds in the daily life. Of course, the world is 99.99% bad things and wrong things you are going to witness in your life. Very 1% you are going to see good things in your life. Taking advantages of the situation by a capable person of the incapable person, murder, stealing, killing the animals, cheating, everything we have to witness in this world, and we will be always feeling very much hurt every day. It's not very easy as a human being to live in the world, even though you are endowed with a perfect body. You will be affected by different things which are witnessing in your daily life. And we will be helpless to help somebody. All around the people will be taking advantages of the inferior people. The superior will take advantages of the inferior people. Nobody cares for others' survival or others' sustaining. They are all having selfish motives. Others' issues are not a problem at all. So it's not very easy to live in this contemporary world. So don't get more desires to have a human birth again in this world. Lord Yama want to put an end for each and every human being who are listening his teachings through Nachiketas. That is why he says that this is the end of the journey. After listening the reality of the human nature, the intrinsic nature is being revealed by the traditional teacher. After listening that, a person will give up the body notion. What is body notion? I am this body. I am connected with this body. I have a lot of kids. I have 3 or 4 wives. I have cars. I have buildings. My ego is puffing. I am being rewarded by the people. All these thinking will have an end. Body notions or erroneous notions are being cut down by giving the right knowledge about oneself. That is the end of the journey from one birth to another birth. That is being told by the Lord. Saha advanaha param apnoti. Advanaha, destination of the journey, destination of the travel. What is that? From the birth to a death. From the death again to the birth. That is called the destination of the journey. That is being cut off by knowing I am not a human being or I am not this notion about oneself. I think myself, I am a human being. I am a human being. I am a human being. I have to do this. I have some biological needs. I am this much fair. I am this much height. I have this type of teeth. I have this type of face. I have to improve it. I need a change. I need to go to beauty parlor. I need to go to visit this country. I need to go to this place. All these things will put some pressure in one's life due to the first notion. I am this body and I came here to enjoy this world. Enough. And one by one, we are going to see what are the thoughts coming due to one single erroneous notion. See, a tailor can take one wrong measure and according to that wrong measure, he mark all other measures also in a wrong way. The whole stitching will be going wrongly after completion. It will be unfit for the need, for the person, because one single measure gone wrong, all other measure which are connected to this one major measure, everything will go wrong. Similarly, one single thought about oneself is wrong. I am this body. One single superimposition is very strong. And on that notion, again and again and again, lot of wrong notions. This is being taken away by the proper instruction. Then, Saha Advanaha. While living in this body itself, I came to know I am this body. It is not that I have given up the body. No. While living inside this body, while living when I am seeing this body itself, I came to know I am not this body. And I reach the destination, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the consciousness which is eternal, ever pure, and the origination of happiness. That consciousness is the base for the superimposition of the body. I came to know that that will be the conclusion of death and birth cycle of a human being. That will be the culmination of the journey. Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Paramam Padam, ultimate goal, whose the all-pervasive consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of his human being who was mistaken this world, who was mistaken with himself. He will reach the destination after listening to the traditional teachers' teaching. So I will once again, I will give the whole meaning. A person who is endowed with an intellect which is discriminative will see the right and wrong thoughts separately, and the wrong thoughts are being destroyed, and the right thoughts, which are noble thoughts, which are essential for the spiritual pursuit, are being taken into. That person who is going to reach the ultimate goal of make the end of the journey of coming here and going through different birth and death cycle, he just put an end and he will reach the Paramam Padam. Paramam Padam. And he will reach Tad Vishnu. Vishnu means Vishadadu, enter, pervades. Vishnu, everywhere it is pervading. This consciousness is there everywhere. In a solid rock, in the shining star, in the sun, in the ant's body, in the bacteria body, everywhere, in the sentient and the insentient, everything we need to include when Vishdhatu, Vishnu who means that consciousness which is pervading in each and everything. Whether it is sentient or insentient, that consciousness is pervading. That is being told here, Vishnu. Once I come to know that I am this all-pervading consciousness, I give up my body notion. These are all erroneous notions that I am a man, I am a woman, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's okay, but don't stick with that thoughts. One need to confirm that I came here to reach the ultimate goal. In between, I may go to different things, but you don't miss the ultimate goal. Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. This person who is having the discriminative intellect will control the mind and reach the destination properly. After gaining the knowledge, total ignorance is destroyed. He is more clear about who am I. This is what is being told by the 9th verse. Now, 10th verse, very beautiful verse. We will have, I think, 10 minutes more. We will see. I will read the slogan and I will give the meaning. Indriyebhyah parahyartaha artebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddhiratma mahan paraha. This 10th verse and the 11th verse are connected, and there is a continuity from here to the 11th verse. But we will read once again and we will see the meaning simply, and we will conclude and we will elaborately will see in the next class. Once more, I will read the verse. Indriyebhyah parahyarthaha artebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddhiratma mahan paraha. Grade is being given according to the subtle the things in nature. superiority is graded according to the subtle nature of the things. The ultimate consciousness is the superior of everything. That is the subtler thing in the world. All other things are being superimposed on this subtle thing. So, slowly, we are drawing the attention of the listener from the gross to the subtler. From the gross to the subtle. So, once again, I will repeat. Superiority is graded according to the subtle nature of the things. Cause is the superior for the effect. Simple, we know that. Any cause is the superior for the effect. Pot is an effect of clay. Clay is superior for the pot. Similarly, here, from the gross to the subtle, we will go one from the gross to the subtlety. One by one. Lord Yama is drawing the attention of the listener from the gross to the subtle. So, the verse again, I will say, Indriyebhyaha parahi arthaha. Indriyebhyaha. Our senses, 5 senses are there. Simply. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, no? The senses of listening. I am not talking about this flesh here. The capacity, the power to listen. Senses of smell. Senses of vision. Senses of speaking and the taste. Senses of our touching. These things are gross for us when we compare to the 5 elements. Here, arthaha to be converted as 5 elements, which are the rudiments for the creation. What are the 5 elements? In Sanskrit, first I will say, then I will give the meaning in English. Akasham, Vayu, Agni, Jalam, Prithvi. Space, cosmic air, fire, water, and the earth. These 5 elements are the cause for the creation. Compared to the senses of knowledge, sense organ, which are very familiar for me, that familiarity make them gross. Compared to them, 5 elements which are subtle, Sukshma Panchamaha Bhutaha, subtle 5 elements are superior to the sense organs. Arthaha means objects in the world. These objects are the cause of these 5 elements, which are the rudiments, which are the base of this creation. These 5 elements are superior than our sense organs. Indriyebhyaha parahi arthaha. This is the meaning of the first sentence. And the second meaning, the meaning of the second sentence, arthebhyascha param manah. When we compare this Tula Panchamahabhuta, the objects which are the compound or composite of these 5 gross elements, the subtle cosmic air come to the gross air, gross earth, gross fire, gross space. Everything becomes some objects. Compared to the gross 5 elements, mind is superior to that, because mind is more subtler than these gross elements. I am going to describe or explain more in the next class. Just understand the flow of the sentence, what Lord Death told. Manasastu para buddhihi. When we compare, when we grade according to the superiority, the intellect is superior to the mind, or intellect is subtler than the mind. And again, there is somebody who is superior to the intellect. Who is that? Hiranyagarbha. The total of all individual soul is called here Mahat Mahan Paraha. Atma Mahan Paraha. You cannot take Atma as the self. Here, Atma is to be understood as Hiranyagarbha, the total of the whole individual soul or manifested condition of the creation at the first time. This is called Hiranyagarbha. I will explain you later in the next class. He is more subtler than the intellect. Hiranyagarbha, the first born, and from him everything came outside. He is more, or it is subtler than the intellect. This is the simple meaning of this verse. I am going to explain you in the next class. We will conclude the session now. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishah Gobhramanibhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kali Varshadu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaah Sarve Bhavantu Sughinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om